My name is John Adams. I'm just an ordinary office worker. My life is boring work and home, nothing special. At the beginning of my career, I dreamed of climbing the corporate ladder, but because of my character, I did not succeed. I often find myself on assignments that no one wants to take. The inability to say no becomes my enemy. Despite the fact that I work hard, I remain an ordinary employee without a title. However, there were times when I was happier and smiled more often. I married my girlfriend, Lisa, whom I had been dating since the beginning of my working life. It was a happy marriage, and it also motivated me to work better. But this happiness did not last long.
Are you suggesting that I live on these pennies again this month?
I'm sorry, I'm trying my best.
More? How many years and how many times have you repeated these words? I thought that marrying you would make my life better, but with this low salary, there's nothing we can do. I'm sick of it.
Lisa has always loved spending money on herself: beauty salons, cosmetics, nails, hairdressers, clothes. Her joy in life was to remain beautiful. She married me believing that life would be luxurious, because I am the son of a doctor. My dad was indeed a doctor and owned his own clinic, but like me, he had a similar character. He often saw patients on an almost charitable basis, and often provided treatment without benefit to patients who hesitated due to financial difficulties.
People can return the money when they remember it in the future. The main thing is that they are alive. The money can't be returned if you're not here.
Because of this, even though we were a doctor's family, we never lived in wealth. Of course, as a child, I did not feel dissatisfaction or doubt about this lifestyle, and I am still proud of my father. However, Lisa, after marrying me, believed that by marrying the son of a doctor, she was provided with a comfortable life, not knowing this background. Therefore, it turned out to be completely different from what she expected.
I'm sick of it. If all we can do is this, then there's no point in staying with you. Let's get divorced.
Divorce? Wait, please.
How many years do you think I've been waiting? I'm getting old the same way you are. I have to start my life over while I still can. I definitely don't want to remain a low-income wife like you for the rest of my life.
With these cruel words, Lisa left, leaving only the divorce papers. I was angry at myself for not seeing Lisa's true identity and not being able to prove her otherwise with my work. It's been 5 years since then. I plunged into work to heal my mental wounds, but being not so cunning, I still could not achieve outstanding results and remained an ordinary employee. If this continues, Lisa's words will turn out to be true. I feel completely miserable. At that time, an envelope appeared in my mailbox. It was from Lisa. What does she need now? In a letter from my ex-wife, Lisa, with whom I had not spoken for a long time, there was an invitation to the wedding. It seems Lisa is getting married again. Why is my ex-wife sending me an invitation? Looking at the postcard in disbelief, I noticed the familiar name of the chapel. This place, isn't it a super luxurious hotel? Knowing Lisa, she must have chosen a rich man as her partner this time. I could easily guess that she wanted to show me her happiness in a luxurious wedding at the hotel in order to humiliate me and show the difference between her current life and the one that was with me. I don't have to go. I was the one who was abandoned. But perhaps for Lisa, my failure at work was a surprise. Thinking about it for a while, I sighed heavily and got up from my seat. For the last time, I think I'll go. I knew that participating in the wedding would break my pride, but I decided to go anyway. After all, despite all this, Lisa stayed with me for several years, even though she had to put up with me. I can understand her wanting to show me that she is happy as a form of revenge. From the outside, she may seem too kind-hearted. However, I decided to go to her wedding. The weather was perfect on the wedding day. I arrived a little earlier than planned and, sipping coffee in the lounge, looked out the window. It was her second wedding, so I recognized several of Lisa's friends who had been introduced to me before. Suddenly, I heard a conversation at the next table. Lisa's friend after everything Lisa has done. She deserves this wedding, doesn't she? Lisa's second friend, yes. It's in a luxury hotel this time. It's a step up from the first wedding. Lisa's friend, yes. She complained that her first husband was the son of a doctor, but when she discovered the truth, he turned out to be an ordinary office worker without money. This is really unexpected, isn't it? Hearing their conversation, I felt a sharp pain in my heart. Lisa never loved me for who I was. I realized this when we got divorced, but it was even harder to hear it from other people. Lisa's first friend before she divorced her first husband, she had already looked for her current husband. Lisa's second friend, really, Lisa is doing great. I calculated everything perfectly. I couldn't believe my ears. This means that Lisa was already in a relationship with her current partner before she divorced me. My self-esteem was in tatters. She looked down on me, and she cheated on me. I began to regret coming here at all. Trying to stay calm, I took another sip of coffee, but my hand was shaking. Lisa appeared, fully prepared to move into the wedding hall.
You really came. You're really a good person, aren't you?
With a heavy sigh, trying to contain my anger, I replied, "Well, consider it my last duty. I'm glad you could find happiness." I forced myself to smile. Lisa, unhappy with my answer, continued to humiliate me.
It's wonderful, isn't it? It doesn't compare in any way to the time when I was with you. Here's a piece of happiness for a poor bachelor. Be grateful, okay?
At that moment, an attractive man approached her. It was her fiancé, her new husband.
Lisa, it seems that the relatives have already gathered. Let's hurry to the hall.
Her husband, Robert, glanced at me briefly and nodded slightly. I instinctively nodded back. It seems that the groom did not know that Lisa invited her ex-husband to the wedding.
There's still a little time before the ceremony starts, so make yourself at home.
With a smile on his face, he walked on. At that moment, an elderly man who was following the groom spoke to me.
Excuse me, may I ask your name?
Dad, what happened?
Oh, nothing, just curiosity.
Feeling uncomfortable under his gaze, I replied, "My name is John Adams."
Adams. Is your father a doctor by any chance?
The elderly man, Henry, suddenly became agitated. Shuddering under his intense presence, I replied, "Yes, it is. Did you know my father?"
Then you must be his son. I didn't know he was already dead. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
Henry began to cry. The situation has become even more strange. Robert also seemed to be puzzled by his father's behavior.
Dad, is everything okay?
I'm sorry, John, I couldn't help myself. Your father saved my son's life.
Robert looked at his father in confusion.
Dad, what are you saying?
Henry took a deep breath and continued.
John, your father was a great man. He performed an operation on my son's heart when all the other doctors refused.
It turns out that Robert, Lisa's fiancé, was the child my father saved. Henry, his father, began to tell the story.
Your father saved my son's life when no one else wanted to take the risk. I always wanted to find him and repay the debt, but unfortunately I couldn't. Now that I've learned of his death, I can't forgive myself.
I began to realize that my father had left a legacy of kindness and dedication, and that his actions had touched many lives. I felt proud to be his son. Henry, thank you for your kind words. My father was a man who always thought of his patients first. I'm sure he wouldn't want you to feel obligated. Henry, still crying, bowed to me.
At least let me help you now. I want to repay the debt that I have been unable to repay to your father for so long. Please.
Realizing his sincere intentions, I reached out to help him up. "Henry, your gratitude is enough for me. But if you really want to help, we can think of something that could honor my father's memory." Robert, standing next to us, also seemed deeply moved.
Dad, thank you for telling me this story. I didn't know that my savior was John's father.
Lisa, seeing that her plan to humiliate me had failed, stood aside with a displeased expression on her face. Her new husband and his father were consumed with their emotions and gratitude towards my father, which only increased my sense of pride. The wedding continued, and I stayed to see the ceremony. Henry insisted that we keep in touch, and later he helped me find a new job, which gave me the opportunity to move up the corporate ladder. Thanks to this, I was able to achieve success and feel that my father's life and legacy were honored. Lisa, despite her plans, eventually divorced again when her new husband found out the truth about her motives and relationships. It was a lesson to her. What you sow, you reap. Like my father, I continue to live believing that good deeds always come back. Today, again, seeing someone smile, I am sure that I am going the right way. It's been a few years since I ran into Henry and Robert at Lisa's wedding. My life has changed noticeably for the better. Thanks to Henry's help and new job opportunities, I was able to move up the career ladder significantly. Now I held a senior position in a large company, and my life was stable and secure. One morning I was sitting in my cozy office, looking through reports, when the secretary knocked on the door and informed me that visitors had come to see me. To my surprise, it was Henry and Robert. They looked excited and happy at the same time.
John, we have an interesting offer for you.
Yes, we want to discuss with you an idea that can change the lives of many people.
I invited them into the office and invited them to sit down. Henry began to talk.
John, Robert and I have been thinking about how we can honor your father's memory. He saved my son's life, and I will always be grateful to him for that. We want to create a foundation named after your father, which will help people in need of medical care.
The idea of creating a foundation struck me. It was something I often thought about myself, but I never knew where to start. Henry and Robert offered to fully finance the start of the foundation and provide the necessary resources. That's a great idea, Henry. I am grateful to you for such an offer. My father has always tried to help people, and I am sure that this foundation will be a worthy continuation of his work. We started working on creating a foundation. Together with a team of lawyers and financial consultants, we have developed the structure and objectives of the fund. The main goal was to provide free medical care to those in need and support research in the field of medicine. The foundation also offered scholarships to medical students who shared my father's values. The fund was rapidly gaining momentum. Soon he was talked about in medical circles, and many well-known doctors and medical institutions expressed a desire to cooperate with us. We held charity events, raising funds for our programs, and gradually the foundation became a powerful force in the world of medical charity. One of the most significant moments was the opening of the clinic named after my father. This clinic provided free medical care to low-income people and performed complex operations for which patients would not have the funds. On the opening day, I stood in front of the clinic, feeling deeply proud and grateful for all that I had achieved. But the most important thing for me was to see how people's lives are changing for the better thanks to our efforts. Every time I visited the clinic and met patients who got a chance at a new life thanks to the help of the foundation, I remembered my father and his words that the main thing is to save lives. One day a woman came to the clinic with a little boy. She said that her son needed a complicated heart operation, but she did not have money for treatment. The doctors of our clinic performed an operation, and the boy successfully recovered. It was one of the many miracles that we were able to accomplish thanks to the foundation. Meeting such people, I realized that my father's legacy lives on. His kindness and dedication became a source of inspiration for many, and now I was a part of this great cause. My life has changed not only professionally but also personally. I met a woman named Anna who worked for one of our partner organizations. She was a doctor and shared my values and commitment to helping people. We quickly found a common language and soon became inseparable. Anna was understanding and supportive, and our shared passion for charity brought us even closer together. We got married and worked together to develop the foundation, continuing my father's business. Years have passed, and I have often recalled those difficult times when I felt unhappy and useless. Now I was confident in my path and knew that I was doing something really important. I am grateful to Henry, Robert, Anna, and everyone who helped me achieve this. But most of all, I am grateful to my father for his example and for the power he has given me. The foundation named after my father continues its work, helping thousands of people around the world. I know that his spirit lives in each of us who strive to make the world a better place. And every day, seeing the results of our efforts, I feel deep satisfaction and joy, knowing that we are doing the right thing.